What is up, YouTube? Today I wanted to go over the latest chapter of My Hero Academia, chapter 353, titled Endeavor. It was a very simple chapter. We basically got new villain reveals, and it was just everybody learning of the win of Todoroki against Dobby, and everybody's basically just reacting to that, saying their praises and talking about how, they knew it would be hard for him, but he was able to overcome that fight, and that they should be able to overcome their fights now going forwards. The chapter starts off exactly where we left off last week, with Todoroki basically holding up Dobby, and we see that the other members of the Endeavor group are basically saying Todoroki has won, that he's gotten his win, and that going forward, they've taken down one of the big leaders of the villain group. Although this is the case, we're instantly reminded that even though Dobby has been taken down, there is still a lot of different villains and Nomus running around rampant, and that they need to secure these people, but it's just a big win to have taken down Dobby. A member of the hero group remarks that they only have to take down this big Nomu, and that they're actually lucky that they're not going to have to go up against some of the escapees, and we get them name dropped in this chapter. One of them is named Kunieda and the other one is named Ghastly, and they're going to get name dropped, and we're actually going to see one of them later on in the chapter. But before that, though, we are shown that even people like All Might and the news has traveled all the way to him, and he's basically just doing a sigh of relief, basically remarking that, it's probably hard that Todoroki had to take down his own brother, but obviously everybody's just happy that he was able to take him down and that he's safe, and nobody from his group seemingly got too hurt in doing that. Moving locations, we get the confirmation that even people such as Mina's group have heard about Todoroki winning against Dobby, and they're all hyped up, they're all happy that he was able to do it, and they're basically saying that if he's able to, we're definitely going to be able to defeat our enemies. And we see Mountain Lady in this chapter. It's been a bit since we did see her, and she's basically saying that, he was always struggling with his quirk, and that this shows that he's really come a long way compared to how he was before, and that he's putting in a lot of hard work, and he was even able to take down somebody on the level of Dobby, and she's doing this as a pep talk to all of the other heroes in the area, basically showing them that they're able to do exactly the type of stuff that he was doing during his fight. It's at this point that we're introduced to another one of the villains, and I'm not sure if this is the escapee Ghastly here, or if it's just a different escapee, but either way, this escapee is basically saying that they made it look like they're on their last legs at first, but obviously now that's not the case. There's many heroes around, many heroes giving support, and they're all hyped up right now, but he's saying that their sacrifice is going to be in vain. And then he starts saying that the time of liberation is upon us. Those that speak lies will be run down into the ground, just like that UA teacher. And we see a panel showing Midnight, and this instantly resonates with Mina. You can see in her eyes, she's probably going to get so angry, and she might have even done something out of hand. She might have just pushed up, but that you can tell that really did pull on her heartstrings, the fact that their teacher Midnight is basically being thrown into the mud like this. But before anything can seemingly happen with that, we see Kirishima show up in the chapter, and everybody's saying, "Red Riot, you've made it." And he's saying that the entire area has been evacuated. Everyone, let's do this. So with everybody gone, every civilian, they're able to go full power. They don't have to hold anything back, and they can go full force against all of their enemies. We move again to a different part of the battlefields, and we are now in Tokoba National Stadium, and we get some quick panels of Sato and Sarah remarking on the win of Todoroki. It's super quick panels, but it's good to see all of the members of Class 1A are okay and well right now. We even get a quick flash of Bakugo in this chapter, and he's just saying of course he won. He knows that Todoroki wasn't going to lose the fight, obviously, and it's just good to also see Bakugo showing up in this chapter. After this, we get to a pretty interesting part of the chapter where we see a team up with Fat Gum and Aoyama, and I didn't think this would be a very typical team up. I didn't see this coming, but I guess it does work. It's after this that we see a new villain has appeared in the chapter, and this villain's basically saying that, is that what the cage was for? You guys use these to basically split up the heroes by their quirks into fights that would be more advantageous to them. It was just talking about their ingenious plan to basically give themselves the edge in all of the villain fights. This new villain then asked them what spurred them on to stay back, and was it trust or was it blind faith? And it's basically just saying that you must fear a lot of different things. This new villain even remarks on the fact that there hasn't really been anybody that was able to deceive All For One and make it out of their lives, so he's going to be going after Aoyama heavy during this fight. He's saying that you're not going to be the one person that was able to get one over on him and get away. And at this point, we are introduced to the fact that this is one of the jailbreakers, one of the prison escapees, Kunieda, and this character has a pretty cool design. I really like their design, and I like what Horikoshi did with them. And they're definitely going to be a heavy hitter. They're going to be very strong, since before this, we got a lot of different people in chapter saying that they're very, very strong, these two specific prison breakers. We even get a panel of Kunieda basically trying to break down Aoyama, saying, are you trying to get the best of both worlds right now? Like, which side are you on? Are you going to be playing both sides, both angles? And Aoyama just says thank you, he says merci, and that's where we cut off with the chapter. And I'm thinking this is going to be a very, very cool fight, and I can't wait to see it happen. Moving forward from this fight, we see that Spinner is having a very big crisis in his mind right now. He's basically saying that Shoto defeated Dobby. He's not accepting this. He's saying that there's no way that this could have happened, and he's going nuts right now. There's no stopping him. He's very mad. Shoji flashes up during his outburst, and he basically says that Todoroki faced on his fate head on, his cruel destiny, and he was able to win. And we see Spinner isn't even paying any mind to this. He's just saying that Dobby lost. Impossible, you couldn't have lost. We get a couple of interesting panels where I'm assuming this is us kind of seeing into the mind of Spinner right now, and he's basically saying that Dobby had everything. He had a purpose, a goal, power, and what is he in comparison to him? And I think this is very important, since we're not really done with Spinner's arc right now, and we've always seen that he's kind of lacked purpose ever since Stain was taken down. He thought that he had purpose when he was with Stain, and we've seen that he's kind of been lacking something, and All For One has been trying to give him purpose, basically telling him that he's going to be the face of all the heteromorphs. He's going to be the face of all these people that were basically looked down upon and shunned by society, and that's kind of been his thing to cling on to right now. But we can see that even that isn't really holding with him right now, and he's starting to break. He starts to send forward all his heteromorph followers, and he's basically telling them to do it for me and Shigaraki's sake, go get Kurogiri back from his captors. So this seems like their whole purpose in all of this is to try and get Kurogiri back. This part of the chapter ends off with Shoji's just saying that, Todoroki, I'm proud that I was able to be in the same class as you. And I've always thought that Shoji had a lot of potential as a hero, but we never really got to see him do too much in the manga. So I'm glad that he's going to be getting his own fight right now, and I'm going to be looking forward to that moving forward in the manga. The chapter then cuts back to the fight with Todoroki, and Ida shows up, and Todoroki's basically apologizing for making him stall his engines, making him stop running. And he's just asking him, why are you apologizing? And we see another one of the heroes there asking, why is he still alive? And we see something very interesting going on with Dobby's body. He seemingly is still alive, but there's this glowing thing in his chest. So I instantly thought of the fact that when Deku was fighting against Lady Nagant, she blew up in the end. So I'm thinking that there's going to be some type of quirk going on that is either going to make him blow up, or maybe it'll even revive him, give him more power, more energy, or do something of the sort. But this definitely isn't the end of Toya, Dobby in this chapter. There's going to be something else going on with him. I'm just not sure exactly what that's going to be. For the last two panels of the chapter, we see that we are going right back to Gunga Mountain Resort, right back to the main fight of the series right here, and it's Endeavor versus All For One, and Hawks is there, and we see that the news has even reached over there, and we see Endeavor reacting to it. He's probably reacting saying, thank God, Todoroki, thank you for basically helping me cleanse myself and helping our family move forward. And this is the start of All For One's spiel, where he's going to be basically trying to get into their heads. And he's basically saying that, you're not even going to look Toya in the eyes, and you're just going to let Todoroki basically do your dirty work, finish him off and all of that. And he's going to be like, oh, it's because a hero has a lot to protect. And we see Hawks is basically saying that he's already begun his verbal assault. And I guess this is just how in All For One fights, he does try to get into people's heads. And we saw this on display when he was fighting One For All Might way back in the story. And he was doing everything he could to try and get into All Might's head. So this is just how he fights. And the chapter ends off with him saying, that's why you can't win, number one. And we see him put up his hands, and he has all different types of quirks going off at once. And the ending remark of the chapter is that he still remains calm as ever, and the chapter ends. This was a very, very good chapter this week. It wasn't too much, there wasn't too much fighting, but it just sets up so many different fights going forward with the manga, and I think all of them are going to be very well executed and very, very good. We're going to see different people finish up their character arcs. Some people like Spinner, which I really do want to see him finish and get his redemption or get his ending. I want to see how his character arc finishes, and we're going to see a lot of other different people, but this is a very, very good chapter going forward, and I know the manga is going to just get even better every week that goes by. But definitely let me know what you guys thought of the chapter, and what do you think is going to happen with Endeavor versus All for One. I'm thinking that Endeavor isn't going to be able to hold up to him for too long. All for One is probably going to somehow overpower him, and maybe it's going to be Deku that comes in at the last moment, but I think they're going to save this fight for later on in the manga. They're not going to just do it next week, so that's how I feel though. But definitely let me know what you guys thought of the chapter, and like the video if you liked it, and subscribe, as it really does help me out. I do appreciate all of these subs, all of the support, and just the people that will show up and watch the video for a bit. I just want to thank everybody for doing that. But without further ado, I'm going to head out. Peace.